Yeah, I feel like it's in sync. We went through a learning period the first three games. We trying to find out what we were and who we were in the first three games. Now we had, I say, even from the third game of the season, we started seeing who we were. But now, I mean, it's you see it now. We know who we are. Quarterback see it. Well, we keep getting better every week, and I see it even growing even week.
What about the way Casey's throwing the ball right now? I mean, right now he's not having hardly even any incompletions.
That's what it is with the receivers. That with us competing, with us competing that good, we were trying to catch every ball that he's throwing. So it's not going to be no completions by the time we get done with the season.
Well, Dontel, talk a little bit more about that. You're not getting maybe the number of passes, but you're doing good things with the passes you get. Talk about having to capitalize on that to keep that playing time going.
You just have to make plays when your number's called. I know I don't get the many catches as I would like, but hey, but my number's called, I'm gonna try to do what I can with it.
But you're second in yards on the team.
You know.
Before we talk about the advance that the defense has made the last two games, this seems to have been maybe the best game you guys have played.
In practice, we've really been going harder with just the tackling fundamentals. So I think the last game we lost, we missed like 23 tackles as a team. So and Coach usually tries to get us to keep it under 10. So we just been going hard with that and working on running to the ball.
Also seemed to do better the other night. I know they gave up the two big drives, but limited that. I thought some pretty big plays. Nothing, not a bunch of sacks or anything. It just kept them from getting big plays. And I guess that seems to be a focus too.
Yeah, of course. I think like when a team has like 4 or 5 plays or like 25 plus yards, they win. So we just want to limit the big plays always.
What about this UT Martin team? Have you guys looked at them on film? Either of you seen them already?
No, the cut-ups will be done today. So as soon as we get done with this, I'll probably go get to watching them.
You know anything about Martin other than they've been won last week against Central Illinois? I guess that's good enough.
Yeah, that's big for them, and I think it's going to be big for us once we go out there and come out with the win. It's just going to help us, get our journey down trying to win the OVC. But I haven't started watching them. I'll start watching them today after I have meetings with the coaches. But no, I haven't watched them yet.
Now, this would be your first homecoming here. Have you played at homecoming games at other places? And let's talk about the specialness of college and homecoming.
Homecoming when I was at Utah State, it was something. They take pride in that. That's how you become a true Aggie. Have Aggie night, go out at midnight, and we had this big aid that you stand on, and you have to kiss another girl that you don't know. That's how you become a true Aggie. And as a team, we go out and they go to the parades and stuff like that. But I mean, it was big for us then.
And it's good to play in front of an atmosphere like that. Like you'll have here Saturday, probably the biggest crowd of the year.
I love it. Pack it in and more people. We Coach told me we're entertainers, and that's what we do. Come and entertain the crowd.
Corey, what about you? Any homecoming memories you like playing in front of the homecoming kind of crowd?
When I was at South Carolina, I could say that the homecoming crowd was the biggest crowd that we always had, so the games were always like liver. But as far as activities, seeing that we was in practice most of the time, we didn't really get a chance to get in a lot of activities.
And Corey, talk about the depth in the linebackers. It seems like it keeps getting thinner. Do you see that you're spending more time on the field?
I think my time on the field is about the same, but because of the injuries that we had with Quay and then Sam, yeah. So we got Chris Scurry going to get some mic reps along with T-Ray, and T-Ray's going to be taking some of the wheel reps as well, as Quay is not ready. So.
How do you help those guys move into these new positions?
Just in the film room when we're going over the stuff, you just because both sides, like the weak side and the strong side, are the same pretty much. So I mean, I just give them whatever feedback I can on how I deal with things.
Dontel, last home game, the racer won through a shoe, so didn't get to run with that 70-point scoring onslaught. Are you hoping that the horse can run for homecoming? Do you think that would be the best homecoming part of it?
Well, it's probably pretty good that lost his shoe because running around the track that many times probably ain't good for him. But you're gonna try to put up the same amount for the crowd. Try to put up 70. Just score. As long as we're keeping the defense off the field, helping, and as long as they keep calling shutouts 14 points, and keep race one around that track, that's our goal.
What do you think of that tradition?
I like it. It's something different, something I've never, been a part of. I'm so used to the cannons when somebody scored a touchdown. That get old, but that's something you don't see, is somebody taking a horse around the track going about 50 miles per hour.
Do you even get to watch it, or are you already kind of talking with the coaches at that point?
No, we come around. We all sitting on the bench and we wait for them to come around.
Can't miss that.
Oh no, you can't.
Well, we're excited to come off back-to-back wins for the first time all season. Last week, I thought we came out a little flat. Even though we had a good start, we just didn't play with great emotion. I think part of it, maybe the weather had a little bit to do with it. Not a great atmosphere at Austin Peay, and a team that we thought if we did what we were supposed to do, that we should be able to win the game. So I was a little disappointed from that standpoint. But the second half, we really picked up the intensity. Played probably our best overall game in all three phases. Our defense shut them out there in the second half. Big play, I think, the big turnaround in the game was right there at the end of the half when they scored to make it 17-14, and then we were able to go back and counter them right off with less than a minute to go up 10 at halftime. But pleased with the performance. It's good to win. Anytime you get a win, we're excited about it. And now we got our sights set on the next game on the schedule, which will be a very difficult game, but we're looking forward to the challenge. Will, what you got there, buddy?
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. I knew you were, so I was putting you on the spot on the camera.
What's the Quay Hussey's situation? How is he hamstring going?
Well, not enough to say whether he's going to play or not this weekend. We got a lot of guys that are really beat up. Nothing serious. All things that can be fixed with rest and treatment. Unfortunately, we don't have much time to rest headed into this game. But this is probably the most beat up we've come out of a game. One thing about Austin Peay, I thought they were very physical. I think they're much better than their record indicates. But we have a lot of guys that are banged up, a lot of guys that are hurt. So we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. And it's like always, it isn't one guy at this position and one guy at this position. It seems to always be a multitude of guys at the same position. So that's a concern headed into the week.
Talk about the strides the defense has made in the last couple of weeks. I thought done a lot better.
Well, we have. Since EIU, we've really settled in there. We did a nice job the other night. We gave up a couple big runs that were kind of disappointing, but we didn't give up many big plays, and I think that's very big. We kept the ball in front of us. We made them work the ball down the field. We forced 2 missed field goals. We had a couple opportunities for some big-time turnovers that we didn't make. That was disappointing. But all in all, we're kind of settling in. We're having some of the young players, Brandon Hathaway, Darrell Smith, are giving us some quality snaps. Isaiah Ferris started the game at corner. Those guys they're having to learn under fire, but they're starting to play a lot better.
Talk about your receiving depth. You have a lot of guys that can catch the balls. What do you see out of practice? Seems like they've got to be competing pretty hard.
They are. We got a bunch of good players out there. I thought Dontel Watkins really took a step up this past week. He had a big game. Trotter had a couple good catches. Buford, he's solid. Pat's solid. Navarre Griffin and Jeremy Harness are sharing those positions, and both of those guys are good players. And then, Walter, he's playing lights out right now. And then, the good thing with him is when he does come out of the game, we don't miss a beat out there with Janowski Davis. So we got good two deep everywhere outside, and then you throw Morrow in there, who kind of does a multitude of different things for us, and then Jamal and Brady. We got some good depth back there. But again, Navarre, he's beat up. Walter's beat up. So how much those guys are going to practice this week is yet to be determined.
Is it hard to keep them happy, to give them enough catches?
Well, there's only one ball, and they got to understand that. And the other night we spread the ball out pretty good, and then when we did try to throw it, we dropped a couple to a couple guys, and they just got to make the best when the ball comes their way.
Talk a little bit about Casey breaking the passing touchdown.
Well, the thing about him is that he's close on a lot of records. I get updates each week. He's close to this, he's close to that. And if he doesn't break all those records, then we're not going to have a very good season. So, we're happy that he's breaking them because it means we're playing well. But even I know he's coming close to some other ones. And again, if he doesn't break them, then that means we're not doing very good offensively.
Can you talk about how efficient he's been and some of the things you guys have done to kind of help that a little bit?
Yeah, well, the big thing is we've really had to simplify it, and we may have early on been asking him to do too much, thinking maybe 3-year starter can handle some of this other stuff, but we've just really simplified it, let him go out there and play, not worry about protections, not worry about reading coverages as much, just go out there and go through your progression, and that's really helped him these past 2 ball games.
Offensive line also has done much better in the last couple of games too.
Well, they have, Neil, and I think just being familiar with Hogan and Robert Olive being in there, again, that's a group that works. They're a 5-man group, and they do everything together. And when you take one of them out, it takes a little bit of breaking in, getting the other guy, getting him up to speed with those other 4 guys. So Hogan was really our 6th best lineman, but we've been playing him at tackle. But we felt like we need to move him to guard, get our best 5 on the field. And so it's taken him a little time to adjust. Early on in the game the other night, he had problems. Really both games early on he's had some problems, but he's settled into it well. Hopefully Mahoney will be able to come back this week. But Hunter's been doing a fine job, but it would be nice to have Mahoney available if we needed him.
Look ahead to UT Martin. They're a tough team. They just beat Eastern Illinois, who was unbeaten at that point. And last year UT Martin came in and kind of punched you guys in the mouth right off the bat, got off to an early lead. How do you avoid that this year?
Well, last year I could have told you going into the game that they were going to beat the devil out of us. So, we just came off a big win at home, had a short turnaround on a Thursday night. They finagled their schedule a little bit where they didn't play on Saturday after we agreed to play on Thursday, and played a couple easy teams. So they were prepared for us, more so than probably normally. And the game played out exactly like I felt it would all week. I didn't think we were ready to play. A lot of that was on me. A lot of it was we didn't handle the success that we had against Tennessee State. However, they're very well coached. They match up extremely well with us. You look at teams, and some teams match up good against you, some teams don't. They do. They're athletic in the spots that we wish they wasn't athletic in. They got Hughes, the great nose tackle, who commands a double team almost every snap. They got great speed coming off the edges. They blitz you from all different areas. I mean, they're a big blitz team, but they can play coverage too, and they do a good job of disguising it. So they've caused a lot of problems for offenses leading up to this point. Then offensively, the big thing, they match up real well with us is they can really run the ball extremely well. And they're 5 O-linemen. I give them credit. They're mean, nasty guys. They cut block. I mean, they're really good. And, I mean, they get after you up front. So you got to put a lot of guys in there, and then what that does is it just leaves you one-on-one out wide. And you know, we've had trouble covering one-on-one out wide, but if we don't do that, we don't have enough men in there to stop the run. So, again, it's a team that poses just by the way they play the game. And you know, with our team, you know, relying on scoring a bunch and defensively, you know, we've been hit or miss. We haven't been consistent in stopping the run or consistent stopping the pass week in and week out. It poses a lot of trouble for us headed into this ball game.
Do you feel like having a team on homecoming with the biggest crowd, all the atmosphere, can maybe help keep your team excited, which that seems to be your goal each week?
Well, we're going to be excited for this game. I mean, you know, last week that game was kind of crunched in between Tennessee Tech and UT Martin. So being excited whether anybody shows up or not, that's not going to be an issue this week. You know, homecoming's good time. It's a lot of folks that come back for the ball game. It's one of our largest crowds. You know, it's a great atmosphere. You know, I've gone on record saying I think we ought to do the tents every week. You know, I think that ought to be our niche. With the way our stadium's built, I like it. But our job is to, you know, as coaches and players, is to go out and play the game the best we can. So from that standpoint, you know, I don't think it has any bearing on the outcome of the game. Hope it does. Hope we get a big crowd, and I hope it makes a difference. But we got to go out there and play well.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about your freshman class, because they seem to be really making an impact on this team this year? Several.
Well, Lindy, you know, I said that early in the year. I've been really pleased with those guys, and they've grown up a lot through these first 6 ball games. And I think that's a foundation for the program for years to come. We were very fortunate. We were able to sign a lot of high school players this year, which we haven't been able to do the first 2. We've just been trying to piece make it together. But these guys excite me because they have a winning attitude. They're team players. They practice hard every day, and they all want to play. I mean, they'll do anything they can to get on a special team, to get a rep here or a rep there. And be quite honest with you, that's not the attitude that we've had around here, you know, in the short time that I've been the coach. So I'm really excited about how those guys, you know, come to work every day, but also how they've been performing in the ball game.
2 weeks ago, Racer 1 caught a break, not having to run 7 steps down. Any prediction on what she can do this week?
No, I don't predict those things. I hope she has to run a lot, though. That would make me feel a lot better if knowing she was going to have to get out there and leg a few of them out. All right, everybody good? Appreciate y'all coming.